Okay, well, this is not the video I wanted to post. Now I wanted to post a video about Abraham Lincoln, but I guess I'm not doing this, and I'm gonna speak about dead people instead. Which, well, technically, a dead person for a dead person, but one is fictional, the other is not. Okay, wow. This video, of course, contains spoilers for ghosts. I don't know how to pronounce this. For Ghost, well, every season, I guess. If you haven't watched the new season, you should, because I'm gonna spoil it too. So, hello everyone, it's me, Kim, and if you have one thing to know about me, it's that I am a big history nerd. And also that I don't really get into new things. Like, somehow watching new shows isn't something I do a lot, which kind of makes my references pretty limited. But I've been eyeing the show Ghosts for a while. The US version, not the UK version. I didn't even know that the UK version existed. So yeah, I'm gonna talk about the US version. And literally what convinced me to watch was to know that there was a captain from the American Revolution who was gay. Because I love the American Revolution and I love gays, so like that was right up my alley. Isaac obviously became my first favorite character, and a lot of it is due to my extreme interest in the revolution. But then episode 8 of season 1 happened, and there was more revolutionary men. Okay, so at first I wasn't so into them for obvious British reasons, but Nigel Chesham became my favorite character of like the entire cast. The thing is that he's not alone. There's 4 revolutionary men and 3 of them are British. On this episode, we only get introduced to Nigel, who's commanding the 2 others, and also Baxter, who's the musician announcing Nigel's arrival and departure. And then there's an unnamed soldier that at first seems kind of unassuming and simply here to fill up the cast and make the universe more fleshed out. Or if you thought that, you would have been as wrong as I was. Because his name is Jenkins, and Jenkins is Nigel's ex. A video in defense of Jenkins from Ghost. Why? How? Huh? Is that a purse? No, that's probably a cartridge box. I hope I'm pronouncing it right. Jenkins is a character from the US version of Ghost, like I said, the 3rd British soldier of the property and Nigel's ex-lover. And as I noticed, one of the fandom's most hated characters. He's as hated, if not more, as Carol, Pete's wife, who cheated on him. I noticed a switch recently of more people being mostly neutral about him now, but I still can see a level of dislike for this character that's pretty unfounded to me. So this video is mostly a rant about that. Let's maybe rewind to the episode where it's revealed that Nigel and Jenkins were a thing. Isaac and Nigel have been like walking around the property for long enough, and at this point the ghosts were forced to bunk in preparation for the B&B opening, which made Isaac share a room with Hetty. And it led to a very uncomfortable scene of him trying to prove to himself he wasn't gay by seducing her, only for him to flatter and fake sleeping when she reciprocated. This hopefully ended well with Isaac coming out and Hetty becoming his wingwoman along the season, which doesn't quite work because he's a repressed buffoon. The reason Isaac tried to seduce Hetty was because Nigel, learning their sleeping arrangement, proposed for Isaac to come live with him. more specifically, in his bed. Literally, they didn't even say they liked each other, and British were already gonna share a bed. So Isaac quite literally ran away. Well, back up away anyway. And since they haven't spoken at all, like at all, Isaac is afraid that he blew it, but Hetty encouraged him to confess to Nigel by quoting Hamilton. I forgot she did that in that scene. They watch Hamilton. I didn't think that would be important. Anyway, so Isaac does exactly that. He goes to the shed to talk to Nigel, only to find Jenkins alone. He mentioned how he's looking for Nigel, and Jenkins announces that Nigel is gone. He got sucked off. Which I hope you know this show before you watch this video, because if not, you would be very, very lost, especially about this. So being sucked off is like not what it actually means for us. It's like ascending, though, going to heaven and whatnot. So this scene like almost made me cry when I first watched it. I really am attached to Nigel's guys. But Nigel isn't gone. Actually, he storms in the room, and Isaac, quite confused, tells him how he's not supposed to be there. In this small exchange, it is revealed that Jenkins lied about Nigel being sucked off. And he also lied about Isaac being in a relationship with Thor. Nigel then reveals that he and Jenkins had a brief tryst. Yeah, that's all you said. About her 100 years ago, which Jenkins did not get over with. And this is the first bit of characterization we get for Jenkins. But there's more in season 2 during the Christmas episode. Oh, and Isaac confessed to Nigel. We have an Avenue Q flashback with every character having to act surprised when the obviously gay man comes out. And back to the narration. The Christmas episode, Sam installs a mistletoe, which the ghosts are quick to point out to Isaac, giving him the idea to invite Nigel over so they can share a mistletoe kiss. Isaac declines, saying he wouldn't want to rub his happiness in the face of others, especially after the facepalm incident. The facepalm incident refers to an episode prior where Pete made a move on Alberta after she inspired him to be bold, where she quite literally slammed her hand onto his face as he leaned in. Pete, being the most grown man perfect ever, doesn't have any spite about it and insists on Isaac bringing his boyfriend over for a kiss. I should precise here that Isaac also refused to refer Nigel as his boyfriend because it's too lovey-dovey, which to me is a pretty important detail in his characterization. Isaac declines again, saying they aren't big on PDA. His friends accept and simply ask how he's doing in private, where Isaac also reveals that they aren't big on private display of affection. Isaac leaves fed up with his friend's comments. Later on this episode, after a nice pep talk by Pete, Isaac and Nigel come back from a walk and find themselves under the mistletoe. Nigel explains that they don't have to share a kiss, but Isaac insists that they should, and Nigel happily closes his eyes and listens for Isaac to facepalm him. So Nigel breaks up with him, everybody cries, but in his defense, which is not the goal of this video, but I'm on a roll. Since they were established as romantic partners, they didn't quite do anything romantic. We don't see them hold hands, they don't hug, and by what Isaac says, kisses are off the table. It's not far-fetched to me to think they just don't touch, like at all. God, Thor embraces Nigel closer than Isaac ever did yet in this season. Nigel doesn't break up over a kiss, he breaks up over Isaac obviously not being ready for a romantic relationship and slamming his hand quite literally in the face of his bride. Nigel said it was okay not to kiss, so Isaac, you fumbled hard. Excuse me, this isn't in defense of Nigel's Chesson video, but I needed to make clear where I stood on that issue. I guess that issue that doesn't actually exist. These are not real people! Anyway. After this, there's the whole thing with Isaac discovering he felt guilty because he trapped his wife in a marriage where he was like obviously gay. But she came to his deathbed. This is a very lovely scene where his guilt vanished because his wife forgave him, yada yada. They kiss lip to lip. They share a kiss. They go. Isaac goes in the shed and he kisses Nigel, and that's great. That's great. That's television, baby. So everything is well in the most perfect world. Nigel is celebrating with them, and everything is great. He fucked Jenkins. I'm sorry, it's kind of brutal to say it like that, but 3 episodes later, Jenkins revealed that on Christmas Eve, where Nigel broke up with Isaac, he and Nigel liaisoned, which just means that they nastied in the shed, bro. So we get a new characterization for Jenkins. He's a petty bitch. I love this guy so much. Not only does he reveal this in the most like dramatic way possible, but before that he just blank stares at Isaac. He also mentions being very good at waiting, while again staring directly at Isaac. The drama, the spite, the pettiness, this character is hilarious. We have more characterizations in other episodes, like Ho is not only a hater in Nigel's relationship, but Baxter's too. Some people read it as Jenkins and Baxter being like a thing, but honestly, I just think Jenkins like to bitch up about anything he wants. But otherwise, all we know about Jenkins is that he's petty, bitchy, and did not move on from Nigel. So, can someone explain me why people made him a pure asshole? Like, okay, disclaimer. You are allowed not to like a character. You are allowed to dislike anything you want. You're allowed to talk about your dislike of a character. You can do whatever you want. But holy shit, can someone actually explain me why they made him even worse than the worst character on the show? It's insane to me, because Jenkins isn't supposed to be anything more than a funny side character that they used for some plot device with Nigel and Isaac. He does lie to them, in a way to push them far away from each other, but let's be honest, they are both stuck at the same place. It's not like Isaac wouldn't have seen Nigel still is here, and knowing Nigel's short temper obviously would have confronted Isaac. Jenkins, as someone that has a good ability to lie, you do not have that ability. And even if it's a very petty move, isn't it like good that Jenkins talked about the liaison? Of course, I do not like that it happened, especially because it used the fucking "we were on a break" trope. I hate this trope so much. Okay, little rant here, but I never liked the Ross and Rachel couple. And not because of the break thing. So it really annoyed me that Nigel and Isaac are like the Ross and Rachel of Ghost. Mostly because if they didn't force it, I would not see it. When Ross does literally anything Ross-like, I wish to punch him so hard into the ground he would fossilize like those fucking dinosaurs he can't stop flexing about. On the contrary, I really like Isaac. Yes, I know in this scene Nigel is supposed to be representing Ross, but in the rest of their relationship, Isaac is the Ross, down to ruining his own wedding. Anyway, the only thing to really blame Jenkins on it is that he just doesn't confront Nigel or Isaac about it. He talks about it to Isaac's friends, acknowledging himself that it would get back to him, and then goes whoops with that fucking shit-eating grin, knowing this will cause drama. Honestly, if he wasn't a shed ghost, that man would be best friend with Sass. Okay, but after all, I mean, I guess I get it. I guess I get it. It's usual that fans hate on one candidate in the love triangle. Okay, wait a second. Wait. Let me read my notes again. There's no love triangle. One of the explanations I have for Jenkins to be that much hated by some fans and characterized in a unflattering manner, let's say, is that they probably see him as an obstacle. The Jacobs of Isaac's Edwards. I thought, let's be honest, Jacob didn't have a chance with Bella. There's Bella, Edward together, and Jacob is just like here, like a free electron. Kinda like Jenkins actually, but buffer, I guess, and actual weirder. Which is a step up from Jenkins, not a good step up, but a step up nonetheless. Anyway, what I mean is, Jenkins is not a danger to the Isaac and Nigel couple. Most of his actions had no bad consequences for them at the end. He only made them stronger, even though it wasn't his intention at all. He lies about Isaac's relationships, which made Nigel confront him, and they confess to each other. He talks about the liaison, which made Isaac ask Nigel to move into the mansion. That's the guy you think is a big manipulator? He can't even be a bitch without having to fidget. Jenkins is only an issue in Isaac's eyes, which is valid on his part, but the way Nigel referred to him shows that he doesn't see him as a potential love interest, like at all. Only once Jenkins is referred as his ex-lover, and it's by Isaac. Nigel only talks about their relationship as meaningless and a brief tryst. I mean, he agrees with Isaac's insult on Jenkins. He's as disturbed as Isaac when Jenkins talks about being very good at waiting. Jenkins is at their fucking wedding, even after the whole lap dance thing. I did not talk about this because even if it brings the biggest event that ruins their relationship, I have a hard time believing that something similar wouldn't have happened no matter what. And next to how Isaac reacted about his own lap dance, Nigel was mostly amused instead of turned down, and doesn't even try to hide the fact to his fiancée. Jenkins has like no power in Nigel's romantic feelings, and he probably never has. Because like, what is a tryst? Cambridge Dictionary defined it as a meeting between two people who are having a romantic relationship, especially a secret one. Dude, it's not hard to have a secret relationship when you're literally just three in the same place and the others don't interact with any of you. Or maybe he meant it because Isaac didn't know about it when it happened. Which probably means that even though Nigel was with Jenkins, he still considered Isaac as a potential lover. Isaac and Nigel met 250 years ago, as Isaac says, and Nigel says the tryst was 100 years ago. We don't know when Nigel developed a crush on Isaac, but it's easy to assume that, like Isaac's attraction, it started almost immediately. So, for 150 years, Nigel turned around Isaac, got together with Jenkins for a bit, broke up, to immediately turn around Isaac again. Sorry about the video, but I just realized something. Do you think it's possible that the brief tryst with Jenkins happened because Isaac was stuck in the hole, so Isaac wasn't here anymore, and that's why Nigel... Oh my God, I just realized that, like right now. Can you imagine what the Isaac and Nigel relationship is like from Jenkins' perspectives? Let's say you're Jenkins. You are a British soldier that died and is stuck in the field where you died. Hopefully you have good company with another soldier and your commandant that you developed or already developed feelings for. And then there's this fucking buffoon of an American captain just being here and stealing all of your commandant and crushes attention away. But you're lucky, since your commandant and the Americans never make a move on each other, you finally get the affection of the man you love. And then you don't. For 150 years you worked for your love's affection. But even while you were in a relationship, it still had to be a secret. And 100 years later, your commandant is still running after the captain and warned you because the American captain finally reacted. And you have to watch motionless as your ex-lover that you still love gets courted by, for all means and purpose, your enemy. And the worst part of all is that it's revealed that the American is his killer, and it did not affect at all his attraction. So you have to watch the man you love court his murderer. But there's a hope for you, since the American rejected your commandant's romantic approach. You can try to push them away from each other by slightly helping the odds and lying to them. But you're not a good liar, and when you lie about your commandant's crush being with someone else, he leaves immediately to confront him. And that doesn't only not keep them away from each other, but that makes them closer and actually officialize their relationship. And you can't do anything about it. But like I say, the captain is a buffoon and he sabotages himself better than you can ever do. His lack of romantic gesture and how he rudely refused to kiss your commandant made the latter break up with him. And in his hour of sorrow, you show up to comfort him. But when you think that you two can finally be together again, the American shows up and kisses him, effectively pushing your love away from you a second time. But now you can do something about it. After all, why should you keep it secret that you two liaisoned on Christmas Eve? You know you shouldn't, but what else can you do at this point? Maybe that wouldn't make the man you love fall back in your arms, but that can create some trouble between them. And it does, at least for a day. Then they move in together, putting the final nail in the coffin of your potential relationship with him. So you give up and watch your ex goes all into this relationship with the American, being as patient as he could, learning about what his lover liked to talk to him about it, accepting that the person he has a rivalry with was the one organizing their wedding. And your pathetic attempt of seduction did barely anything else than amuse him. And then he was left at the altar. From our perspective, the wedding is absolutely heartbreaking. But from Jenkins, it would be a victory over him being rejected as nothing over and over. And he didn't do anything to cause that. After the episode about the liaison, Jenkins barely did anything to try and break Nigel and Isaac up. And even if he did lap dance it for Nigel, which is obvious to everyone involved how sexual that is, the hope of it breaking the wedding, at least from Nigel's point of view, is below zero. Plus, he doesn't need to try. Isaac is perfectly capable of running it on his own. Jenkins is probably in the discussion of the shed saying Isaac doesn't deserve Nigel, but other than that, he doesn't do a lot past that. And I do wish that the writers will use him for something else than a device to start drama in the main couple. Okay, the reason I make this video isn't really to make people like Jenkins, but to talk about how easily he's narrated as the villain when he really is not. That's the same of Nigel. where some people decide to hate him and pick on anything to turn him into something he isn't. And I understand that seeing a character's only negative aspect can cause hate. But at the same time, it's weird to me to turn a character into an abuser like that. And I'm not even exaggerating with it. You can dislike a character without needing to make him a monster, or try to make him worse so the character you like seems more innocent. Characters that are written like complex humans should be treated and analyzed like complex humans. And I understand, I do the same. It is fun to make a character you like cute and babying them. But it shouldn't stop anyone from seeing them as they are represented and be able to scratch the surface into what we have to better understand them. I'm not good at analyzing stuff, so I hope this was okay. Next video I'll probably learn how to glide around like Sonic. Okay, bye.